Well, good Thursday, everyone. August 7th, 2025. Welcome to the Uncensored Man podcast. I'm your host, Corey, and my co host, Doc, is on the air with us today. Dr. Luke Kemp's research on 400 plus collapsed civilizations suggests we're repeating the exact same pattern: economic inequality, environmental decline, and elite overreach. Sound familiar? Are we living through the final chapter of Western civilization?
Yeah. Well, I don't know about Western civilization. This part of Western civilization, yeah.
Is
But
complex.
this guy who's featured in the Daily Mail article, this scholar, we're repeating all the same things that collapsing civilizations have repeated. I mean, people have been writing about this for 40, 50 years, so he didn't discover anything new. We're obviously in a collapse cycle. I mean, you hear that across the academic disciplines, even in people with very disparate political ideologies and worldviews. The Marxists and leftists call it late stage capitalism. I guess the rest of us, just pragmatists, see it as, most empires don't last more than 250 years, about 300 years or so.
I've
And
heard
then
that.
they slowly decline and go away. And that's what we're seeing. And you're not living in an up and coming society. You're living in a collapsing empire.
I could see us heading in. How do you feel about this? And I know it's somewhat biblical, but like they say we're heading to like a one world government.
No.
Have you heard that? Yeah. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, I don't think that's true. I think we're headed towards more disintegration, actually.
But with the more we lend ourselves to other nations, I feel like we're giving up. I've never felt like we've given up more control of
Well,
our own country.
the one world government thing is stupid because there's been a trend over the last 20 years towards, breaking away from centralized bodies and stuff. That's why you have Brexit. That's why you had that secession movement that got weirdly popular in what is that place off the coast of Spain? I
Oh,
can't remember.
America,
But anyway, the island off the coast of Spain.
Mallorca.
No.
No.
Anyway, but that's the point. So no, I don't think we're headed towards a one world government. We're headed towards more in disintegration. Hell, that probably eventually what will happen to the US is it'll just break up into multiple different countries or administrative regions rather.
Howard Stern in the death of the boomer liberal clown media.
So
That's
Howard Stern's contract's not going to get renewed, his bloated $100 million a year contract. It's just this, along with the canceling of late night shows like Stephen Colbert, it goes to show just how unpopular liberal boomers are. That whole liberal boomer worldview that's not quite full on woke, but brushes with it a little bit. Even that is now toxic. So like the lowest form of humor is irony. By the way, I forgot who said that. I don't know if maybe it was Shakespeare who said that.
lowest
But
humor is
hippie era degenerate boomer bullshit on talk radio, nobody cares for that anymore. I thought Howard Stern was always degenerate and disgusting and never insightful and never interesting.
he's
But
awful. I used to listen to him in the tractor when I
it's
was driving.
trash.
I thought, how does this
But
guy have a show? Like seriously,
well, he had a show because it was degenerate. It's degenerate, just trash for like long distance truck drivers and
just
boomers.
absolute filth.
I had a buddy in college who really liked Howard Stern, but he was a degenerate too. So no, it's just more changing culture. People don't like that kind of shit anymore. That stuff is totally out of fashion. Even the people that would listen to it would be more apolitically people or people who are even left wing. They don't find it even entertaining.
Yeah, I always thought I just would get, I'd feel icky after listening to his episodes. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Gross.
But it's just part of a larger shift away from the old school kind of degenerate liberal hippie type of bullshit.
Yeah. Well, how long
It's
has
just
Howard
no
Stern
longer
been on the air?
interesting. It's the same thing that happens on the right. Like the Daily Wire is hurting bad financially because no one wants to listen to Ben fucking Shapiro anymore.
Oh,
No one wants to listen to like Mark Levin anymore or Sean Hannity. If Rush Limbaugh was still alive, no one will listen to that either because it's just like it's boomer conservatism. It's like the opposite of
Who do
Howard
people
Stern.
want to listen to?
It's out of touch, boring horseshit. And in the case of the right wing equivalent, it's a lot of, pro Israel stuff that most young people strongly disagree with.
Howard Stern was making 80 to 120 million annually. His numbers went from a peak of 20 million daily listeners to an estimated 125,000 daily.
No one wants to listen to that horse shit anymore. And he's made so much money, it's not like he needs to work. The guy's 70 years old, 71 or something like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, he should just retire. He's old.
Yeah.
Like this, I was not listening to him, but he was on air when I was a kid. This is a long time ago.
Yeah.
I'm 48. I'll be 49. So
pretty soon Sirius is going to have a contract with like Nick Fuentes. That's what's going to happen. It's just that's who's going to be popular. I mean, he already is popular.
Yeah, what's going on with Nick Fuentes? And he's calling out Tucker and Candace.
Tucker actually called him out, maligned his character, saying he's a gay kid living in his mom's basement, which was super cowardly. It was also cowardly of him to pretend like he doesn't know who Nick is. Obviously, Tucker does know who Nick is. Candace Owens has always been a mixed bag. She's like, to me, she's always been kind of like, she has enough intelligence to be effective, and she has a good verbal IQ, so she can communicate very well. She figures some things out, but she's not smart enough to, I guess, synthesize and see bigger pictures, and it sometimes leads her down.
Yeah, leads her down. Are you there? Oh, he must have got a call. Doc,
are you there?
I'm there. Welcome back.
My phone overheated.
Oh.
That happens when you're sitting outside in the sun. What was I saying though? I forgot.
Well, we were talking
about where I cut off.
Nick Fuentes and just what killed the Stern show, and kind of like where we're headed right now with, is this the beginning of the end for boomer era liberal media?
It's what I was trying to say is it's the end of boomer era political talk, period. So it's the end of the liberal hippie side, and it's the end of the conservatard, Zionist right wing Ben Shapiro side too.
Did you say conservatard?
Yep.
I've never heard that before. That's fucking hilarious. Conservatard.
Yeah. It's the conservative stuff. The Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro, pro-Israel conservative shit is dead in the water. Because the thing that was interesting about Tucker Carlson attacking Nick Fuentes is the reaction of the public reaction to it was very, very negative. So the young conservatives are more like Nick Fuentes.
Interesting.
They're not like Ben Shapiro. That's why the Daily Wire is going to, is like in financial trouble.
So they're right wingers, but they're not like the conservative boomer right wingers.
No, totally different.
Totally different. So now we have more.
We have Groypers. It's some Groypers. It's more anti-Zionist across the board.
Yeah.
All across the board, it's more anti-Zionist. Because the one thing the unfunny liberal political commentators have in common with the boomer conserva-cucks is they're very pro-Israel. Like the Mark Levins, the Sean Hannitys, the Bill O'Reillys, all these people associated with previous generation conservative commentary. That shit is boring. That shit is out of date. That shit is glaringly not. People are done with Israel.
Interesting.
What's the third one?
Our third segment here today is the simp epidemic is real. Here's how to kill it. Simping isn't just embarrassing, it's spiritual decay. Online forums say the cure is cold withdrawal, self-respect, and recentering your value on purpose, not pussy. Is simping just a modern form of worshiping a false idol?
Simping is a symptom of epidemic male depression and loneliness, where you have guys that pay women for a modicum of attention, even if it's artificial and meaningless. They want a simulation of a girl giving them attention. So they pay very handsomely for it.
Wow.
And it's some kind of a malignant form of non reciprocal altruism. So that's what happens when you have a large percentage of men who are lonely, they become simps. And that's why we have a whole economy that's the slut economy, the OnlyFans economy, the Instagram economy, the TikTok girls making low IQ videos economy, the things that enrich the degenerate slut economy is primarily simps, lonely men trying to get attention from women, even though it's a simulation. That's what the simp economy is.
Can women respect men who fawn over them without reciprocal?
No, of course not. And most of the women who are on these streaming platforms are already at least subclinical psychopaths and narcissists, so they lack empathy anyway. In other words, the types of people that take money from simps are going to be the types of people that would take money from simps. Simping is just simply a way of trying to solve a problem of epidemic loneliness and lack of intimacy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have no options and no ability to get female attention, then you either try to convince yourself you don't care about it, which is what a lot of guys are doing increasingly, or you pay for it in some way. The easiest and lowest risk way to pay for it is just to sign up on a girl's OnlyFans, follow her on Instagram. That way you can, form this very fake relationship with her and you become a pay piggy.
Wow.
If there were no simps, there would be no OnlyFans.
But
If there were no simps,
I've been a simp.
if there were no simps, there would be no, amaranths and other such people on Twitch.
I think a lot of
There were
guys
no
are acting
simps,
like
there'd
a
be
simp just
no
because they don't even know
there'd be
what
no
it is,
TikTok girls.
and they don't know that they're even doing it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they're just oblivious to the fact that they are simping. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I know I've done it before in the past, but I didn't realize.
Well, we're talking about people that pay for subscriptions to girls'
yeah,
social media.
that's
We're not talking about how men behave with women and men being placating to women just more generally. We're talking about the guys that pay for the OnlyFans or that pay for the X subscriptions or whatever, or buy the merch. This is a different category.
a totally different category.
Yeah, it's a totally different category. These are lonely guys.
Yeah,
You could say they're pathetic and lonely, but they're lonely. I don't know what to say. You could call it pathetic.
Well, yeah, women will say they're pathetic and lonely, for sure.
Well, no, men will say that too. Men
Oh
hate
yeah,
simps. No one hates simps more than men.
yeah, exactly.
So, but
I would still argue that a lot of them don't really know that that's what they're doing, and that they're part of the problem.
they don't, I don't know if they know whether or not they're part of the problem, but they are mainly the cause of the problem. I mean,
Yeah.
well,
Can
maybe
you
the cause is
explain
just all the things that cause men to be lonely, I guess.
what's the definition of simping?
Simping is like I said, it's non-reciprocal altruism. It's where you try to pay or give money or give attention at minimum to a woman who gives you something in return, usually a simulated version of a superficial human connection.
Someone who is overly attentive and submissive to another person, usually a romantic interest, in the hopes of gaining their favor, usually often one sided.
You don't have to be a simp to be in a romantic relationship.
You guys have got to realize what you're doing. If you're giving out and you're not getting back, this is called simping. You've got to stop. What do you do? What do men do? What should young men do?
Just don't try to solve your loneliness problem by paying women money.
Well, yeah.
Don't and don't go on OnlyFans. Who the fuck needs to go on OnlyFans? I've never even visited that website even one time.
I've only visited it to see like some of these people that I know, like to see what are they doing on their page, but I've never subscribed to any of them.
That's actually not true. I was there once when I went on a date with a girl who said she was on it and she shared the link with
Oh
me.
my. Oh my.
That was the only time I've ever been on it. I don't know why the fuck you would pay for porn in 2025.
Did she
So
want
that's
you to make
why
an episode with her?
no stole my watch. So bitch is getting arrested if I see her.
Oh my.
But
Oh man.
that was the same one who stole my watch. Yeah, no. You
Wow.
can't pay for a woman's respect, unfortunately. A lot of rich guys are actually simps. This is a funny thing. So one thing that's funny, and I have a lot of wealthier clients, a lot of them are simps, even if they're married, even if they have girlfriends and stuff. So simp behavior has become almost ubiquitous in American culture. That's where that whole happy wife, happy life bullshit comes from.
Mm,
That's like an early form of boomer simpism. So
there
the
you
boomer
go.
generation were the first really big simps. And then
Right.
every generation thereafter has become increasingly more simpy, except the Zoomers.
Oh my gosh.
But at any rate, yeah, that's
For real though. I've been saying this for a while now. Like you go to just man, even just like the last wedding that I went to, and I won't even say who it was, but it just makes me want to gag. Like the amount of simping for women is just it's gross. It's just like all about the woman. And I mean it's all right, but like aren't we supposed to be equal here? Why are we just putting women on such a
yeah, you
pedestal?
don't need a lavish wedding, lavish ring, all that other stuff. But just don't. It's all that is a moot point because you just shouldn't get married if you're in the U.S. anyway.
Mm.
So there's no point to even realize or worrying about that. Let's just don't do it. Getting married in modern America under these laws, I would argue, is a form of simping. Actually, especially unless you're not the breadwinner, unless she makes a bunch of money and you're like a broke idiot and inveigled her into being in a relationship with you despite your income differences. That takes a lot of skill. That takes skill to maintain, man. Boy, I'll tell you it does. I
Oh,
lived in my ex girlfriend's house for a year on and off. I mean, I had my own house, but she lived 2 hours away in like the bigger city. So, like, when I wouldn't have my kids, I'd just go live with her. I had an apartment downtown, and I'm like, I'm just going to get rid of it. I'll just live with her. That was a big mistake,
ooh, yeah. Never, guys, never get
but
rid of your.
saved me a lot of money.
I think that's the first mistake you can make as a guy is like getting rid of your own place in favor of moving in with some girl that you've just met or recently got together with in the last year. Like that.
Yeah. Well, the difference is I didn't live with her full time.
Well, that's good.
You know, I don't think it's wrong to live with a woman as long as it's not full time. I think it's perfect, like week on, week off, get some distance. A lot of people will balk at that because even a lot of like Zoomers have internalized the boomer introjects about relationships and marriage is supposed to be you're supposed to be married for life and you just tough it out and pull yourself up by the bootstraps. It's like, well, no. First of all, they didn't even follow their own advice because 60% of them got divorced. But yeah, so this generation definitely doesn't have the ability to do the lifelong thing. That's why I said 10 years is what you get. But you can prolong it by having intermittent distance. I think that's really the most important way to do it is distance. And that way you have more high quality time. It's like the same thing goes when guys get divorced and they're trying to figure out custody. It's like, should I have shared custody? Should I maybe get like let her my kid's mom have full custody? And it's like the thing that you forget is when you think about your life and you think about the time you spend with your kids, you consider like how much of that time is actually valuable time. How much of that time is actually like good quality time versus how much of it is the kids doing their homework and you working on the computer or the kids at their sports activities or whatever, and you working and you get to see them for like a half hour at night, that kind of thing. So you take that into considerations. Do you want to have full custody or you want to have like shared custody, meaning you share her with her family, hopefully? you know, like in other words, like you don't have like she doesn't need you fully for all her attentional needs.
Mm.
Now this is going to be very hard because American women and American men, by the way, by and large, can't conceive of a relationship where you don't just fully give your attention and time to the other person completely. We just have this totally unhealthy view of relationships here in the US, which complicates all the other problems. So distance, I think, is important. But yeah, it's a huge simp move to just be around your chick 24/7. Those very few of those relationships last, especially today where people get bored as fast as possible.
So that's how to kill it. That's like part of our topic here is how to kill it. And I would say that's probably
Part of no, the people that will become simps in the sense like, buying shit for girls and paying for their attention and buying subscriptions and stuff, those are the guys that are lonely. You just have to know that being a simp is a form of self-harming behavior. It's a form of self-sabotage. It's a form of self-harming. It's not normal. You should see a therapist if you do that. You should go to a therapist and say, hey, I'm very lonely. So the way I deal with my loneliness is I pay for a bunch of sluts OnlyFans and I get to send them messages and they send me stupid, probably AI generated responses back. But that's the only attention I can get from women. That's the only attention I can get from women. I still feel hollow and empty. How can I work through this? Like, why do I think paying this degenerate slut $25 a month that I probably can't even afford? Why do I think that's a good idea? Why am I doing that? What are some other more productive things I can do?
Have you seen these guys creating these 100% AI generated OnlyFans pages and people are signing up to pay for that?
No, that's fucking genius though.
I
That's fucking genius. Just like the AI chimp videos and all that other shit.
Yeah.
That's genius, man. That's how you make money in this economy that's fast changing, is you just entertain
very
people on social
progressive.
media.
Well, I just recently saw some TikToks on it. I saw several guys doing it and I was like, what the fuck? Like all of a sudden they've got a couple thousand paying members, and they're just 100% AI generated content, man.
That is just
Fucking.
That is hilarious. That is honestly fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
That's so funny, dude. Yeah, you'll see more and more of that. Hey, that's a very enterprising thing to do. I mean,
there you go, guys. Just came up with a new idea for you. And if you haven't heard of it yet, right now there's still a window open. The opportunity is there. You can create 100% AI generated content and sell it to simps. Capitalize on it.
Yeah, people just need to remember that simps are just lonely. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Well,
You need to have compassion for your fellow man, but also encourage them. See, simping is self-harm because it will never come to the outcome that you hope. It's never going to lead to a real relationship with these chicks.
right.
And the simulated version is going to lose its appeal rapidly. And it's just like, imagine you get into this pseudo fantasy, like quasi relationship with this chick online that you're paying to give you attention. I mean, it's super toxic.
Well, there's
but there are I would imagine there are tens of thousands of men that are embedded in fantasies with female personalities online.
Absolutely.
And that's really sad. That's fucked up and that's sad, but that's what you see. People
respect and some confidence.
The simping thing is a super, super big problem.
Yeah.
It's a very big problem.
And stop trying to seek validation from people that don't really care about you. They're only there for your money. I would say that's the first thing you need to do is get some self-worth, get some self-respect. don't seek validation from people that are out to just take your money for attention.
Yeah, paying for women's attention is it's a form of self-harming behavior. It's like I would even say investing money up front in a woman really in any way, shape, or form is very unwise these days. Someone asked me the other day, one of my patients, or not patients, but people in my Discord where I do my, like live stream for patients.
Right.
They asked me, "What do you do if a girl refuses a coffee date as a first date? What do you say to her?" And I said, "Fuck off." Just fuck off. If it's not as simple, if you're like, as these chicks say, if you're dating with intention, so called, so you're looking for like a wife or like a long term girlfriend, you don't need to have a complex first date. You should have a simple coffee date or a simple, like, one or two drinks at the bar type of thing. And if they don't want to do that, they can fuck off or go for a walk or whatever. These don't be taking them on these expensive dates. Don't be buying flowers. Like, it should just be like you want to see this chick in person to see that she's not a fucking land whale or like a creature from Lord of the Rings, and like see if she has a decent personality.
Well, and if she has a decent personality and she really wants to meet you, like, she'll be fucking thrilled to go on a coffee date. Because what chick does not like, big trains and caramel macchiatos?
Well, yeah, that's part of the point is if they don't want to do that, then that raises a serious question, like, what are they going on the date for? Are they just trying to get a free dinner? There are girls that just go on dates just to get free shit, free meals.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, if they don't want to do something simple, then they're obviously not interested enough in you. Like, here's the other thing, and the part of the larger theme of what I say all the time is, don't waste your time with bitches that don't want you. If the chicks do not want you, don't waste your time with them.
Oh,
I only go
you've
for
got
women that
mental
want me.
gymnastics
It's like
going
people
on in
ask
your
me,
head, and you're
people ask
asking
me,
yourself constantly, or you're like sitting there questioning the relationship all the time. Right there's your red flag.
no, I mean, even if you're not in a relationship, don't fuck with girls that don't like you or don't have interest in you or are playing games or whatever. Like, just don't waste your time. Like, people ask me, why'd you live in Mexico for half a year? Why'd you only date Mexican girls? Why'd you stop dating American girls? Real simple. The American girls weren't interested in me. The Mexican ones were.
Fair enough.
It's that simple. If it boils all down to just that, it's like, that's who wanted me. So that's who I dealt with. What's the fourth topic on the thing?
Our fourth topic on our agenda today is promiscuity and psychopathy, what the science really says. Online bros love to say sluts equals sociopaths. The truth, there's overlap between psychopathy and short-term sexual strategies, but it's more complicated than moral panic suggests. Does promiscuity signal a lack of empathy or just a different mating strategy? Are women who rack up body counts more likely to manipulate or exploit men? Can men detect psychopathic traits in promiscuous partners early on? Is hookup culture a breeding ground for disordered personalities? Yes. Should promiscuity be viewed as a red flag or just a feature of modern dating? And are men now evolving psychologically to mimic dark triad traits to survive?
Okay, let's go through all those questions are important. Let's go through each of those one at a time.
Okay,
So
does
what
promiscuity
was the first
signal a
one?
lack of empathy or just a different mating strategy? Promiscuity, is it a signal? Does it signal a lack of empathy?
Yes.
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 It's not
That's
just a different
simple.
mating strategy.
Well, it's not really a mating strategy. It's promiscuity is a little bit of self-harming behavior, and it can also be a form of self-soothing behavior. It can also be a form of validation seeking. So promiscuity is highly associated with subclinical psychopathy. So there's something called antisocial personality disorder. Used to call them sociopaths. That's not the correct term. So there is no such thing as a sociopath. That's an old term for psychopath. So psychopaths Yes. Subclinical means it's not diagnosable. They don't quite meet the criteria for it to be diagnosed, but they carry several traits of the disorder. So numerous studies have shown in both men and women, promiscuity, aka many sexual partners, is very highly associated with subclinical psychopathy. And there's various studies showing that if you've had multiple sexual partners, anywhere from over 5 to 7, your risk of divorce is 3 to up to 10 times higher than people with lower body counts.
Wow.
So that's actually contrary to what the feminists tell you. A woman's sexual history is one of the most important things to know before you enter into a committed long-term relationship. You should actually know everything about their sexual history. It's not irrelevant. It's not a sign of insecurity. It's extremely important. It's the number one, I would say, predictor of relationship longevity. So yeah. Good thing for men is it's very easy to tease this out of women, actually. They tell on themselves a lot.
Yeah.
They tell on themselves a lot, and all you have to do is direct the subject in just a peripheral direction of something like, oh, I used to party a lot when I was in college. What about you? And they'll drop some like crazy bop lore like, oh, yeah, I used to have threesomes with my sorority sisters, and I used to take guys home from the bar all the time. It's like this shit happens. It happens.
It happens.
Yeah. They tell on themselves, like I said. So, but it is important. So what's the next question related to
Okay.
that?
Yes. It's important to note that the lack of empathy and remorse is the number one key element here with a psychopath. They rarely feel guilt or regret. So if they fuck you
That's
over,
with an actual psychopath. So that's where I'm not saying more women are psychopaths. I'm saying women who are promiscuous are likely, very likely, much more likely than women who are not promiscuous to have traits of a psychopath. That's different than saying
trait.
a psychopath. Yeah, because for
Should we be
example, you
calling all
can
women psychopaths? No, just because they have a high body count.
no, I'm not saying that.
Yeah. Okay, the next question. Can men detect psychopathic traits in promiscuous partners early on?
It's an irrelevant question because you shouldn't have a promiscuous partner.
Okay,
It's
moving
not,
on.
can you detect psychopath? It's not, oh, she's promiscuous. Let's determine if she's psychotic. No, it's the promiscuity itself is the red flag. When you get a giant red flag, you don't just go look for other red flags. The red flag means stop. It means turn around. It means run away.
Right.
It doesn't mean, let's do it. It doesn't mark the spot of the expedition. So that's the red flag. So don't be with promiscuous people.
Unless you're just looking for a short-term promiscuous partner, then you should better move on right away.
I would be careful about that too. But anyway,
Yeah.
there's all kinds of, we need to have multiple segments on dangerous red flags in women, but promiscuity is one of the major ones.
All right. Next question. Is hookup culture a breeding ground for disordered personalities?
Yes. Yes.
Why?
Because what the red pillars say is that only 20% of men are having any success on dating apps, for example. And so they have lots of options. And so the result of that is those men engage in, they basically have multiple women at once. So there's a lot of deception involved. There's a lot of manipulation involved. There's a lot of disordered behavior. Yeah. I'd say a lot of men who are hyper promiscuous, which would be the ones that are successful on the apps, would be, more likely to be the ones with like a cluster B personality disorder, narcissists, psychopaths, that type of thing. Swings both ways. And the women on dating apps are either, well, some of them are not even looking to date, they're just looking for validation. That's obviously, disordered.
So they're not even
Some
hooking
women,
up. They're
some
just
women are
using it for
looking for,
validation.
hold on, some women are looking for casual sex though too. And why? Because a lot of them, that's their form of self-soothing behavior. That's really common in borderline personality disorder. They use promiscuity as a way for validation, also to soothe themselves.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure men do that too. I want to say I'm not an expert. I'm a physician, but I am not a psychiatrist. I'm not a personality disorders expert. But I have lots of experience with women and just, reading about this stuff. That's what you get. You don't get, especially today, a lot of the women on dating apps are like a dead end because they're either single moms that are looking for economic rescue primarily, or they are women seeking validation who have no intention of going on dates. They just want to get a lot of likes, a lot of messages. And then you have women that are using it to find easy, casual sex partners. And, that's a woman who would be like that would be obviously more likely to have something wrong with her personality wise. And yeah, those are the three main groups that you have. I guess the fourth group would be just the women that are on there for years and years and never settle for anything but the absolute best. That's the funny thing about dating apps is you can go on them in a major city and then come back 2 years later, you'll find a lot of the same chicks are still on there.
I've done that before.
Me too.
Not in a major city, just in this
Me too.
area.
So that's common too.
I've seen what you're talking about. I've seen the same women on there. Like, what?
But I see, here's the thing, hookup culture, we're not in a hookup culture. We're in a celibacy, men and women hate each other culture. And there's very few people that are actually having sex. Even married people have less sex. So we're actually not in a hookup culture, so-called. That's not true anymore. Maybe we had a hookup culture 5-6 years ago even, but female and male promiscuity has gone down, actually. Not for good reasons.
Yeah,
Sex overall has gone down, even in committed
but I mean, that's good.
relationships.
Promiscuity, going down is good, but it's sad that we have such a loneliness epidemic.
Well, think about that. We have a loneliness epidemic, but yet we're more connected than we've ever been. So it's like, why is there a contradiction there? It's because the social media doesn't really connect us.
Bro, blow up the cell phone towers and watch people start meeting each other in person.
Neither do the dating apps, by the way.
Yeah.
Talking to someone electronically never has the same impact as meeting. Like, I would even bet people who were matched, through parents and stuff, like in ancient times, a lot of times you could write letters to your future spouse. I bet you that rarely happened, that they talked before they met. I bet you it rarely happened because then you don't get a real picture of the person.
Well,
You can't even do that in online dating. That's why online dating is a waste of time. The only way you should use the app is if you can get them off the app as fast as possible. It's like 2 or 3 messages. Hey,
yeah, I've been on several dates from the Tinder or whatever. And the last one I went on, no shit, I took this gal out to dinner, drove, like an hour to Rapid. It was an hour away. Took her to dinner, and I just listened to her for like an hour nonstop. I was just like, it was so fucking awkward. And
what, like trauma dumping on you?
Yeah, that and just, yeah, basically it was just like, okay. And then, yeah, I never talked to her ever again.
American dating is just so horrible, such a humiliation ritual. In El Salvador, what I do is I would just have chicks meet me at my hotel in the bar. So I'd literally just press a button, go down 2 or 3 floors, and have a drink with them in the hotel bar. Or if they were skittish about that, it was just the restaurant literally right across the street. Not even across the street, right across the walkway. So we meet there and have drinks there. Not even like dinner. I'd order an appetizer or something. And in Mexico, the same thing. Right below my place, I had 2 different bars, and the people would fucking crack up every time I came in there because it's like I would meet a chick at 7 o'clock in one, and then at 8:30, if things didn't go well with the first one, meet the other one across the way. Yeah, and sometimes even go back for a third one at the other place. And sometimes I would have girls scheduled at the same time because they flake a lot. But what I learned in Mexico is, unlike stupid America, where the girls are just extremely rude. The Mexican girls don't flake a lot. Actually, they hardly flake at all. At least for me, they did. But I would get like 80% flake rates from chicks in the US, but in Mexico it's more like 20%.
I could see
The
that.
big problem with the Mexican girls, they're just late to everything. They're chronically late. Now if they know you're a gringo, and a lot of them would show up on time, which is funny, and they would make a big deal about that, like, "Ooh, I showed up on time for you." Cuz usually they're late, so that's what complicates that. But I don't it's not a humiliation ritual like when you do it like that, where it's like minimally, there's no inconvenience to it. It's just simple. They come to you. It's cheap. The more shit you have to do to go meet a girl for the first time, the more it's going to be a fucking waste of time. But a lot of women will also use dating apps as a way to just get free attention. So they'll add you on Snapchat and they want you to shower them with attention. That's also a huge red flag, by the way.
Red flag.
See, one abnormal behavior you see a lot from women in the US is they get this idea of men have to be obsessed with them or they lose interest. That's a highly narcissistic trait, by the way. So a lot of women will lose interest if you don't like text them every day, or even if you miss one morning of saying good morning, they'll just ghost you. And again, that just goes back to like a lot of women just want simpy guys. This is not, the red pill shit is out of date. It's not in line with the current evidence. American women want beta fucking losers. They want losers that text them all the time. They want losers that snap them all the time. They want losers that like all their posts. They want guys that, are not on social media and have no women that are interested in them. This is what they prefer. This is what they prefer.
What do guys prefer? What are they looking for?
At this point,
yep,
most American guys will take whatever they can get.
Really?
Yeah, that's another problem is because there's so much scarcity, there's also so much just tolerance for things that weren't previously tolerated. That's why we have everything happens in a vicious cycle. Is you have the simps fuel the economy of slut behavior, and then you have guys with very low standards.
Wow.
And fueling both of that is just loneliness.
Well, it's a tough economy. And this is why you claim that being a passport bro, and you said you're not necessarily a passport bro. You just kind of fell into the dating scene.
Well, I don't like using the term just because a lot of idiots associate it with sex tourism, which it isn't.
But you have found greater success as a man by just eliminate the American dating scene altogether and just like go out of this.
Yeah.
Well,
yes.
And okay, let me ask you this. So like you see, here's a phenomenon. I don't know. I see it. Is this a phenomenon? But like white chicks, like black guys, is that a phenomenon or is it just me?
Last I checked, statistically, white women were the least likely to date outside of their race.
Oh.
Least likely. When you ask women of all races which ethnicity of mate that they desire the most, consistently every race of women selects white men or European men, light-skinned men, whatever. So the exception may be black women might prefer black men slightly more. I don't know, but all the other ethnicities prefer the white man. They prefer the BWC. So that's what the stats show on it.
I see. What I'm getting at is you might have better odds going.
But you were asking about like Mexican women, like Latinas. Mm-hmm. Latinas love gringos.
So this is in your favor. I mean, let's be real.
It's in my favor. I'm over 6 feet tall and I'm a gringo. I'm not even that good looking. So
well, it does help that you're over 6 feet.
But the funny thing is Latinas are not as obsessed about height as American chicks are.
They got a lot of short dudes over there.
A lot of them, when I meet girls in Mexico for the first time, they're like, "Oh, I'm surprised that you're this tall."
In 6'3".
Tú eres muy altísimo. Yeah, they're like, yeah, I'm just very surprised you're this tall because they don't like screen guys in the same way. At least that's what I've seen.
Right. Now
So-
over here, they filter us by our height. Are men now evolving psychologically to mimic dark triad traits to survive?
So of course they are.
I believe it.
Of course they are, because you have to. Let's start with the first thing. Most people meet each other through online dating, right? So the first thing
I
you
don't
have
know.
to do is you have to introduce a profile that's attractive. That profile needn't actually be representative of your actual personality or even looks. It just needs to look realistic enough, that you're actually a real person. So already it's the dynamic for online dating starts out with inauthenticity. So presenting fake, curated depictions of yourself, which is obviously, that's what narcissists do. Okay. So that's a very narcissistic dynamic. The other dynamic is on the receiving side, the girls are also presenting fake versions of themselves. So you end up forming a opinion, vision, idea of them. And this also, especially the more you talk to them before you actually meet them, in your head, you develop an image of them beforehand that may not be actually representative of them at all whatsoever. So that's also a narcissistic dynamic. That's called introjection. Okay. Well, that's not, introjection's not common to narcissists. Snapshot people. They form images of people in their heads that don't comport with reality. And so when you meet the person, you're actually interacting with your fictionalized version of them, not that who they really are. Okay, so that's also a personality dilemma. And then the last thing is just to succeed in dating multiple women, which is going to be the temptation for the few men that are very successful. It involves a lot of manipulation, deceit, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You get it?
Yes. Also, I've seen, okay, let me just give an example, a real life example, because I was married for 17 years and then, all of a sudden I'm single at like 30 something, right? And so I got on the dating apps. I was like, I need to meet someone. Like when I was having trouble, it's like every other guy, like having trouble meeting women, like in person. It's just like, I'm trying, but they're like, fuck, they're just playing games. I'm having a hard time, right? Seriously, I was having a difficult time.
Yeah. Well, that most guys have a difficult time on it.
Yeah. And then so you turn to the internet, and I'm sure a lot of guys do, because these places wouldn't be in business if if it wasn't relevant. But
Well,
these
the thing
dating
is that
coaches and all these manipulation tactics, right? And there's women teaching them now too. I mean, I see a handful of women and a handful of men, but yeah,
the biggest scammers on the internet are dating coaches, especially female dating coaches.
ooh,
The biggest scammers on the internet. I would never listen to a female dating coach.
wow,
Yeah, they teach you things to say, things to do, how to act, how to fake it till you make it. It's all bullshit. What matters in dating is just treating it like sales, a sales funnel, which is like the John Anthony. He's the only real dating coach. It has to be treated like sales, and then the other side of it is just really having the attitude. Like, the problem with teaching men about stoicism is you could teach them all you want about how don't worry about things you can't control, and look at other people, try to have empathy, understanding. A lot of red pill guys forget that empathy is a huge part of stoicism, but that's besides the point. The big problem with stoicism is it's not something you can develop naturally. It's something that you develop after the trials and tribulations of life hit you in the face so many times that you finally just stand there and realize, like, because I've already been through a lot of shit, and it's just like there's no use worrying about going through more shit.
right,
More shit's gonna come. So it's a learned attitude. It's not, or it's an attitude born of experience and born of trauma, I would say. It's not an attitude that you just inculcate into yourself by listening to some 15-minute YouTube distillation of meditations or something like that.